Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of my Fireside Chat. And I have Amrit today from UK. This is really going to be an interesting journey with Amrit of a quick 20 minutes, wherein we are going to discuss about tech entrepreneurship, female in tech entrepreneurship. So let's get started with it. Before we get started, a quick introduction about myself. So this is Lipika here, and I am a marketing leader with Axiom. And to get started with it, we'll quickly have an introduction by Amrit, and then we can get started with a few questions wherein Amrit is going to let us know about her journey into tech entrepreneurship and what are the business work she's doing. And it's really going to be interesting. So let's get started. Amrit, quickly, could you let us know about your business?
Sure. Hi, Lipika. Thank you for having me. So I am a founder and co-founder of a few startups here in the UK. I also am working on a startup in the Middle East. So my background is sort of health tech, fintech. I'm also mentoring startups as well. So I have another company called the Startups Hub. And I'm also starting a new company around Confidence 360 for people here in the UK. And hopefully we'll go global at some point too. And in the past, I've also had a fashion boutique as well. So a bit of different experience. But I've had the opportunity to go through a lot of different industries and try a few different things.
That's great, Amrit. So, as I mentioned, this discussion is really going to be interesting because Amrit is diversified into different verticals, I would say, as a tech entrepreneur specifically. So, Amrit, this is a question specifically being a woman. Did being a woman, did it impact you that, you will not be able to achieve as a tech entrepreneur, or what you will be able to achieve as a tech entrepreneur?
I don't think being a woman, no, I would say not really, because I think when I approach things, I approach them as a challenge for myself. However, entering the tech industry, I realized there weren't a lot of women. And I think it was a bit of self belief at some point where I thought, am I good enough? So it wasn't the fact that I was a woman. I think it was because it was a new industry I was entering, as my background is an economist. So I graduated as an economist and I, by mistake, got into the tech world, or by chance, you could call it. So I think it was more around my own self-belief, if I was good enough amongst all the different men in the team. However, I mean, I managed to get a lot of support through my experience. Some of these people have been absolutely great. I've actually got a really good mentor as well. I think although sometimes it does seem difficult to sort of climb up the ladder, I don't think I have had much of a challenge, to be fair. I kind of know where I want to go, and then I just do everything I can to get there. I think it's a lot of it is about hard work and focus.
That's great, Amrit. And I would say, for building a business and building different business into different verticals, we really need a kind of a network, right? And what would you say, to women out there who is listening to us today? And because there are so many women who wants to become a leader, it could be, doing something sitting at home, or maybe going out and building different business verticals, just like you have been doing. So, what kind of network do you think a woman should create when, if she needs any kind of a backing, could be financially, could be, um, you know, uh, I would say emotionally. So, what kind of a, network that woman should build up?
Yeah, so I think there's a few different areas here. So when it comes to emotionally or career wise, you want to have a mentor that can help you in that area specifically. There's nothing wrong with having multiple mentors. Some people will really help you in like their niche areas. So I think it's really important to find that mentor, somebody you look up to, somebody who you
Yeah.
can comfortably go and ask questions to. So I think it's really important for people to find the right mentors. And sometimes you start off thinking, "Yep, this person's right for me," and you get partway through and you think, "Actually, no." But then you meet somebody else along the line, and it's fine to like speak to many people. It's good to join a lot of groups as well. So, for example, in the tech world, I'm part of many different networks that's online. I've also joined some networks out, face to face, and due to COVID, some of these had stopped, but they're now starting to pick up again. So I'm part of a women's network as well, which helps just generally raise everybody's game. And I think that's really important because some people network and it becomes very competitive very quickly. I think it's important to find that group that's going to help raise your game rather than compete with you. And I think that's it's difficult to find, but as long as you know exactly what you want out of this group, I think it's achievable. I'm part of many different networks, and each one of them provide me something different. But like I said, it's really important to make sure you have a mentor who can help and guide you along the way.
Yeah, that's true. So, people out there, especially women who are listening to us today, definitely get connected with Amrit because she's part of few women networks. That definitely helps when you build up your network, your community, right? It helps you to grow your business, your work, your career. So, do connect with her, and she's available on LinkedIn. So just to move to our next question, like there has been few times, right? When I used to think about people growing in their business, and so when we talk about investment, particularly, right? So when was the time you needed investment, and was it tough for you as a woman to get investors? Because there was one session I was having on Clubhouse, Amrit, if you remember, you were also there, and there was one of the speaker with us who mentioned about getting investors being a woman. It was getting tough for her. I mean, today also we get to see this happening, wherein being a woman, it's get too tough. It's getting tough investors. So was it difficult for you, and how did you face the challenges, if it was?
So, with investment, I've had to seek investment for a health tech startup. So, I was working with two doctors, and in order to actually launch our app, was going to cost us a lot of money because in the medical world there's a lot of regulations, and we have to get certain certificates in order to be able to launch a medical device. Well, it's a software as a medical device. And so we needed the funding in order to do that. So although we'd initially put in capital ourselves, it was quite expensive to launch. So we did join a lot of different accelerator groups. However, although we got to a certain point, we never actually secured the funding. And I did find it a challenge. But I came across another group which were actually women supporting women with investment. So they really liked the idea. And unfortunately, I resigned from the company before we actually got the investment. But there are groups out there that help women specifically for investment purposes. I mean, in
Okay.
Europe, there's definitely, and I'm sure in India, there must be some as well. So that's all. That's also key. The other thing I found in the fintech world, in the Middle East, I think having the right connections and the right networks really helps to put you in touch with the right investors as well. So with the fintech, I think we've managed to get funding very quickly. So yeah, it's also about your connections and your network, and it's good to speak to as many people as you can. Also pitch your idea to many people too, because sometimes you think you've got a great pitch, but it's only when somebody else is listening to you, they might not actually understand what it is you're trying to what problem you're trying to solve, and how this is going to make an impact. So with investors, obviously one thing is they need to understand the product, and the second is they need to make sure they get a return on investment. So as long as those things are clear in your pitch, it should be good enough to get the investment or secure the investment. However, I know there are statistics to show that women founded companies are still less likely to get funding than male founded companies. So I think that is changing, but it's going to take a little bit more time.
Yes, actually, you're right, and definitely in India we do have communities built up for women leaders who want to start their business, their work. Especially in India, we have a lot of women who want to start business from their home, right? So we know that, right? I mean, leaders are born from home itself. So in India, this works a lot, and definitely, I mean, it's great to know that the challenges you faced and you overcome all of it. So I would like to ask a couple of questions before we can end this session. So what was your initial spark that you had that helped you to entering the tech industry?
Well, as mentioned at the start, I got into tech by, you could call it by mistake or by chance. I was, like I said, I graduated as an economist. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I tried accounting, I tried teaching, but there was just something missing. And then I went along to what I thought was a job interview for an IT support job. But it turned out to be a course with a guaranteed job at the end of it. And so at that point, I was like, this sounds really interesting. I've never given, the tech industry a thought before. Why don't I, give this a go as well? It sounds very interesting. And then I signed up for the course, but then decided a week later that no, maybe this is not right. Maybe it's too big a jump for me to move into a whole different industry. And then, but I couldn't cancel the course. So the contract was signed and the money was taken, and I wasn't going to get a refund. So I was kind of pushed into that direction. I had to actually do it, but I haven't looked back since. I think it was like one of the best mistakes that I've ever made. I've absolutely loved the journey, and it's taught me so much. And I love fixing problems, so it's the perfect place to be.
Wow, that's great. So that actually, I'm sure, like women who are listening to, every woman out there in the whole world who are listening to this particular session that we are having with you, Amrit, it's really going to be great. Maybe, people are going to definitely, after watching this, they might, start exploring ideas and exploring the ways they can start up themselves any kind of business, right? Being a leader. So thanks a lot, Amrit, for covering all these things. So before we end, there's just a last question. I would like you to share about your fashion business that you have started. It would really be great because whatever we spoke about, it was healthcare, it was tech industry, but fashion is something which is very much different from all of the industries vertical. So maybe you can cover that as well.
Yeah, sure. So, with the fashion industry, again, I got into that by chance. I was looking for an outfit to wear to a cousin's wedding. And I did go to some of the shops here in the UK, and last minute I found one, only to learn that somebody else at that wedding was wearing the exact same outfit, who was probably half my age, and everybody noticed. So I thought to myself, okay, I can't do this. I need to start making my own outfits. So I got in touch with a production house in India, and I started designing my own outfits and then getting them to manufacture them and send them to me. And then people started asking me where I was getting my outfits from. They really liked them, and that just slowly turned into a business of its own. So I opened up a boutique, and I used to make outfits for brides and occasion wear for family members. I did have to close the boutique down eventually, but because I was doing so many other things and it was really hard to be in so many different places at once. However, I continue to do this from home, and given COVID situation, I think it's probably a better choice and less rent to pay.
Yes,
So yeah.
definitely. So, so you take orders from India as well?
I don't actually have any clients in India, but the
Oh,
obviously the company I'm working with there, they do cater to Indian market. But I
okay.
normally focus on the UK market.
So they put up your designs for Indian clients as well, right?
Probably. I don't know, but
Okay.
probably.
Yeah, you should ask them. I mean, because sometimes you again don't know what might click out from that, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
because so when you spoke about UK people in London, they get. I mean, we see, right? There is a place in India known as Rajasthan. You might have heard.
yes, yes. I've
So
been.
many people like tourist places like Rajasthan, like Jaipur, and there are a lot of tourist places in India where people from UK, US, from all parts of the country, world, they come to visit India, right? And they are so much excited about the culture. Culture meaning the clothes that
Yes,
we wear, right?
yes,
And especially on the occasions, different occasions. So when you talk about marriage, wedding occasion, there are so many clothes people want for different occasions, right? So it's
yes,
really interesting here in India, and good to know that you are actually working for people in London, and so that they get those kind of outfits.
yes.
So it's
Yeah.
great to know. Maybe you can share your designs, Amrit, with me at least.
Sure, sure.
So
Anytime.
yeah, I will really love to check that out. And again, thanks a lot for coming into the session today.
Thank you very much for having me. But just one last thing before I go.
Yes,
I think
yes,
it's
Amrit.
really important that anyone who's starting a business or a a change in career, it does get difficult. It's not always smooth sailing, but you've got to keep going. And running multiple businesses can get difficult as well. I mean, but you've got to keep going because there's going to be good and bad days, and the good days are very rewarding. So just keep going.
That's great. So, not only as an entrepreneur or as a leader, your words would inspire all of us, but I think even to any human being hearing this would definitely be an inspiration for all of us here. So, thanks a lot, Amrit, for joining us today. And we are here to the end of the session. So, until the next fireside session. So, thanks a lot for coming in, Amrit.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone, for listening to us. Thank you. Have a great day, Amrit.
Thank
Bye.
you so much, Lipika. Thank you. Bye bye.